Metro's cold case homicide team has solved another case, this time a 13-year-old murder of an elderly Las Vegas widow. Now, the murder was profiled back in August by the 8 News Now I-team, and the media exposure generated tips that helped detectives figure out where the killer could be found. The I-team's George Knapp tells us how they tracked the suspect.
An unmarked grave in the back of a local cemetery is, in a macabre sense, appropriate given the person who's buried underneath.
Strangulation was the cause of death, yeah.
Back in August, Metro cold case homicide detectives Ken Hefner and Dino Kelly told the I-team about new evidence obtained in the December 2005 murder of 83-year-old Dorothy Sarg. An intruder attacked the widow and grandmother as she sat knitting in the house on Isabel Avenue, where she'd lived for 40 years. The attacker sexually assaulted her as well, leaving a DNA sample that years later would help solve the case. Police could find no match for the DNA in online databases, but at the urging of crime lab technicians, Hefner and O'Kelly resubmitted the sample earlier this year using a more advanced test and got a solid hit, though the suspect was something of a mystery man.
Multiple names, multiple AKAs, and dates of birth, social security numbers.
The DA's office issued an arrest warrant for career criminal Dino Marks, also known to police as Nicky Guy. Marks had several distinctive tattoos on his body, and by putting that information out to the public, detectives hoped to jog the memory of someone in the audience, and that's what happened. A female caller contacted the cold case team.
She told me she had caught the tail end of a media story where she saw the photograph of our Dino Marks and recognized the photo as what she called her husband, a man she'd been with for 7 years.
2 years after Dorothy Sarg's murder, a man using the name Nicky Tene moved in with a Las Vegas woman and her 2 daughters and never left. It didn't take police long to confirm that Nicky Tene and Dino Marks were the same person, right down to the same tattoos.
When we were able to see the photographs that we had, and there's some handwriting that we were able to compare between the 2 of them, it's quite obvious to anyone that they're the same person.
But there's no chance Marks can be arrested. His common-law wife reported he died of a heart attack in 2014 at UMC Hospital. And although the name assigned to the unmarked grave is Nicky Tene, police are not positive of his true identity or birth date. The cold case team was glad to resolve the case on behalf of Dorothy Sarg and her son, but wished they could have confronted the killer while he was alive.
It would have been nice to have a face-to-face conversation with him. If nothing else, just to tell him how despicable we thought he was.
George Knapp, 8 News Now.
Detectives say that Marks is believed to have been part of the local Roma community and that during his life had been able to obtain all those false birth certificates and other bogus identity papers.